Remember, the main purpose of this repair was to quiet the transmission drive shaft noise, hoping that other parts and bearings were in satisfactory condition, yet to be confirmed. One of the things in the differential area to pay attention to is the location of the bearing caps. They're to be kept in a matched condition. Looks like somebody's had this apart before. There's a punch mark there and a punch mark here, and the recess here is toward the differential, not towards the outside. So I'll watch that when I'm putting those back together. Checking coming apart here so that we have an idea, heads up on what we're doing going back together. The pinion and ring gear teeth look in good condition, no spalling or pitting or anything of any concern, and the differential bearings look good. The backlash between the ring gear and pinion is a bit excessive. It's got some oil drag and so on right now. The spec is 5/10,000ths, and from what I'm seeing, it's slightly over 10. Again, hard to tell for sure. It's not clicking with oil-free bearings, but that's about where it is right now. Not maybe too serious, depending if the bearings are in good condition. Again, looks like somebody set it apart before. Not sure if these have been replaced. To replace the transmission drive shaft bearings, we have to remove the rear bearing cup from the case, and the reverse pinion is in the way. So the set screw on the other side has to be taken out, and the shaft comes rearward, so the differential has to come out. And to do that, it has preload on the bearings, so I'll pry with a support here and a pry bar and pry upwards on the hardware on the far side, and then work prying on different sides under the teeth, ring gear teeth. It, depending on how tight it is, can be a fair issue to pry that out of there. And in that case, I'll take it down from the bucket that I have it sitting on. If you're lucky, you may be able to find something suitable like that to be able to work on it comfortably. I've got some uh, bolts in here just to center it, but it still was a bit loose, and I got a pry bar or a tire iron on the other side. So I'll be doing this prying and so on with it out of the bucket. I found that first pry action with this bearing race below the surface here, put something across there and get behind one of these bolts and pry that way. And in this case, I've got it started and the bearing is up flush now, and you can see I'm out of alignment there, and the other side's coming up with it. At this point, I'll try to walk it by putting support there and keep working it out. It's kind of a step-by-step process. Once I got the differential out, I found that the differential bearings and cups are also pitted to some extent, although on a concrete floor this one doesn't growl like the other tractor one did, which was one of the main reasons for taking it apart. So these ones aren't that bad. Hopefully that'll allow me to just put new bearings and cups on, and the wear pattern and the engagement won't be messed up at all. I probably will move a shim from one side to the other to reduce the backlash in between the pinion and the ring gear, but we'll follow up on that when we look at the cone point setting on the differential drive shaft too. The transmission drive shaft rear cup is blocked for one thing by the reverse pinion. This set screw was in this bore in the transmission, and that locates the reverse pinion shaft. There's another good reason to take that out if you're in this area, and that is after the set screw is removed from that bore, there's a passageway in here in that shaft to here, and it feeds oil from a trough in the transmission case to the transmission drive shaft rear bearing. And I've seen that can use cleaning out from contamination sitting in the trough. So with the set screw out, then it's possible to go in here through that trough in the side with a punch or a tool of some sort and push the shaft rearward. And in both tractors, moving that out of there wasn't particularly difficult. And then if we move the shifter away from reverse, we can, I believe, remove the, well, maybe not until I get the differential drive shaft out. Well, the reverse pinion is not coming out yet, so perhaps I have to take the differential drive shaft out before the pinion itself comes out. Before we take the differential drive shaft out, I'm going to turn it over and we're going to look at some theory for cone point setting.